What's going on, America? This is Kevin in Kevin's Corner, back where I started, in my car. That's where Kevin's Corner originally started, I think. But you know how I say it. Kevin's Corner is wherever he goes. I mean, wherever I go, there I am. And that's what Kevin's Corner will be. And right now, it's in my car. Anyway, let's get into a couple things that I witnessed today as I was watching the boob tube, which came as a surprise, y'all. Nikki Haley, my political crush, she resigned today, y'all. Hurt me deep. I knew a girl named Nikki. Come back, Nikki, come back. It's hurting me deep, y'all, because she was great. Nikki Haley, I have to agree. You know, her personality, the way she came out, the way she addressed the topics that the United States wanted to get across to other nations. She was very just forceful. She had a great command when it came down to her delivery. What she said, she had a presence about herself that's going to be really hard to duplicate. And I think President Trump did a great job by having a press conference to honor her, to allow some of the questions to be answered, because you know already the liberal media was licking the chops, probably like, ooh, goody. So somebody's leaving. I bet you it's because of Trump's misogyny and racism. And I bet you probably tried to holler at her while she was walking through the White House or something like that. Or even if that didn't happen, we're going to speculate and come up with our own reasons and put our own spin to this. That's what we're going to do. So they had a press conference, and of course, all of that stuff was squashed. She said, look, I'm not going to run against the president. I put 8 years in. That's including her home state. I think it was North Carolina or something like that. But she was just talking about the stress and the pressure that comes from doing that job, which I can't even imagine, And so I think it was done very well. And I'm sure we haven't seen the last of Nikki Haley. She's going to come back and do something. I'm sure she is a high commodity right now when it comes to politics, because she left in good standings and her favorability was very high. Now, they go on to ask the president some questions, which, this president, I can't say enough about President Trump. He is the realest president in my lifetime, and there will never be another Donald Trump. Whether you like him or hate him, there'll never be another Donald Trump who keeps it so real, almost to a fault. I mean, but I find his realness refreshing and hilarious, even though some people that are sensitive, they don't like it. He says harsh things, make them feeling hurt. Sometimes they're sensitive on the inside, but not me. I'm built for tough. I can take that type of humor and that type of candidness. So they asked him about Hillary Clinton and her opinion about Judge Kavanaugh being confirmed last night. She was talking about something about, oh, it was all political, blah, blah, blah. And, Trump was like, yeah, that's why she lost. See, because she don't get it. She just don't get it. She never did. She just doesn't get it. And that is so true. That is exactly why she lost. That's exactly why the Democratic Party sucks. That is exactly why people are walking away from the Democratic Party as I speak. Right now, before I finish this sentence, I guarantee you at least 1,000 people are walking away from the Democratic Party by the time I finish this sentence and put a period at the end. There it is. So anyway, they don't get it, because see, all they do is they do everything they can to divide us. And it killed me when I hear commentators get on TV and they say things like, the president is the divider in chief. He's dividing us. How? I mean, by saying that America should be first, by saying that we should protect our borders, by saying that we should honor our flag, our military, our police. How is he dividing us? I mean, when I think of division, I think of the liberal media. And see, here's the crazy part about this. Between the Democrats and the liberal media, they want us to believe that somehow we as a society are regressing when it comes to social issues, when it comes to things like racism, sexism, all of these little isms that they throw out there, and want us to believe that these are epidemics in the United States, as if we have just went backwards, back into the 1600s and the 1800s and beyond and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, so You're not saying that we're getting better and more conscious of all of these so-called social issues. We're getting worse. Men are now becoming more misogynistic. They're not in tune with women's needs and rights, and we want to just have a rape culture and all of this stuff, and we don't want to hear what women got to say. That's what you're telling me? You're telling me now that the average white person is walking around saying, I hate all black people and minorities. I think they should all get out of this country and go back to Africa. That's what you're telling me? You're telling me now versus the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, where people were calling homosexuals all type of derogatory names and could get on regular TV and blast homosexuality. But now we're more homophobic and xenophobic and all these other phobics. We're worse now. And if you watch some of the liberal media stations and you listen to the Democrats, they're saying exactly that. They're saying that, yeah, we have regressed. And I don't believe the average American is walking around thinking about how many people in small groups that they can hate. I just don't think that. I'm not seeing it in my everyday life. I communicate with people of all walks, all races, all colors, all sexes, all of that stuff. None of these topics ever come up except for in politics, because they're introduced by the Democrats and the liberal media. But they never come up. Nobody's talking about them. I don't even overhear people saying that. I don't even catch people like telling racial jokes anymore. Hey, dude, it was a white guy, Chinese guy, and a black guy. He walked into the bar. I mean, these things aren't even prevalent in our society like they would want you to think that they are. But that is how the Democratic Party and the liberal media thinks that either they can survive politically by pushing this into our society. And see, what it does is it creates an ongoing problem. Because let's be real, without these social issues and division, they don't have a platform. They don't have a message. They don't have anything. They don't have a strong leader or nothing. But what they do is they bring up these issues, blow them up, inflate them, make it seem like this is a national epidemic, and give no solution to them. They say things like women's rights, we got to fight for justice and equality, we got to fight for fairness, and these white men and these, you know, and they break us down into all these subgroups. Because notice now they're talking about white men. So they're taking it one step further. Not only are they targeting men, but they also slide in the racial divide, because we can't have black men and all other men of all different races still, you know, operating as one accord. So let's go ahead and segment them, because we don't want the black men and the white men to unite. We got to keep everybody divided. So let's go with white men. So then this way we can categorize them. White men, Asian men, black men versus American men, you know, and then we'll focus on men, you know. So we go ahead and chop the knees out from under them. And then we'll go ahead and divide the women. You know, we have feminists and justice warriors, but then we have those women who are simply subject to their husband's rule and guide, and they really rely on their husband to make good judgments, and they're probably being hypnotized or used by their husbands, and so on and so forth. See, they like to divide every single person, and they think that this platform is a good look for them, and it's not. But what it does, it gives them an excuse to continue to perpetrate this stuff upon our community, our society, and our country, because there's no solution to it. They want us to think that this is an ongoing problem, and it's kind of like people who are protesting, that was protesting in the NFL, talking about, man, why are we protesting? Because of police brutality. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what's the solution to that? Instead of dealing with individual cases, now you're saying that this out there exists on a major scale. You don't have a real solution to it. Plus, not only that, even if you got it down to a minimum, at some point, somebody, because humans are flawed, is going to do something stupid, and then you got another case, and that one case, you know what the liberals would do, will make it seem like that one case blankets the whole police department. Same thing with racism. You might have one person do something stupid, say something stupid. Now all of a sudden, racism has flooded our society again. Same thing with sexism and every other ism. And that is why they use these things, because they're going, we know that the problem will never be solved completely because humans are flawed. So instead of saying, you know what, this isn't a big problem in our society anymore, and when these things do raise their ugly head, we will address those individual cases. We can't do that. We got to make it seem like this is everywhere. And we're the justice warriors to fight against this stuff. So you got to be down with us. You got to roll with us. And that is why the Democrats, Hillary Clinton, and the liberal media, they just don't get it. People are starting to see through that crap. And people are saying, man, I don't want to hear another word about sexism, racism, and all that stuff. Because y'all overuse it. You have flooded the market with racism. You have flooded the market with sexism and identity politics, and it just ain't profitable no more. Nobody wants to buy it because it's not in high demand anymore. It's just everywhere. I can open my door and there's racism, I guess, just laying there. I can just turn on the TV and flip the channels. Racism there, some sexism, some misogyny. You know, you hear it so much, you don't even just go through one ear and out the other. And they do these serious topics a disservice by just pounding them into the ground, and they just don't get it. And that is why Hillary Clinton lost. That is why the Democratic Party sucks. And that is why the liberal media's ratings are in the tank. And that's my take on it. So anyway, shout out to Nikki Haley. It's going to be sad to see her go. And then, of course, Hillary Clinton, you know, she just doesn't get it. And I love the fact that the president just called her out. She just doesn't get it. That's why she lost. Anyway, God bless you. Find me on Facebook, on Twitter. Check me out Wednesday night, 7:30, live, my live radio blog talk show. And also, if you want to support Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's links in the bottom to do so. I would appreciate it. And don't forget to check out my sponsor, Extreme Tees. Got some hot t-shirts, y'all. Go to the website. The link is also on the bottom. God bless you. See you next time at Kevin's Corner.